Welcome to the Self-Growth Nerds podcast. I'm your host, Marie, a courage coach, creative soul, and adventure seeker. Since through hiking the Pacific Crest Trail in 2019, I'm on a mission to help you embrace your most confident self so you can achieve your dreams too. If you're eager for deep conversations, big questions, and meaningful connections, join me on the quest to discovering how we can create a more magical and memorable life. Hello, everyone. I decided to do a spontaneous live because this morning I was with a friend and we had such an amazing conversation, and I realized like one of the main obstacles to our growth, to your growth, to my growth, to everyone's growth. And we were talking and realizing if we can just do this one thing, then we wouldn't be spinning in circles in our problems and losing so much energy focused on our problems, and we could grow so much faster with this one thing. Now, before we jump in and I tell you more, for anyone who's new here, my name is Marie. I'm a courage coach. I work with anyone who feels lost, stuck, directionless. They're in a job that they don't really like, but they don't know what to do next. And I help them create a life in which there's a lot more passion, a lot more flexibility, and a lot more impact. Like I work with people who want to feel valued in their work and they feel like they're making a difference and they're enjoying themselves. So, my friend and I, this morning, my friend is a doctor, and I was telling her about one of my frustrations. I had to take medication for 6 months for a physical condition that I had. I'm not going to go into details, right? But my doctor said, you're going to have to take these pills for 6 months. We don't know if they are going to work for you. If they don't work, you might have to take them for a longer period of time. And they worked, which is great. But I was telling her, I don't want this condition to come back because I don't want to be dependent on these pills that cost me money, right? I don't want to be dependent on that. I want to find like a natural solution. I want to have control. I don't want it. And I was telling her, you probably deal with this a lot when it comes to people who need to take antidepressants, on like them fighting, like not wanting to be dependent on medication and wanting to be able to fix the problem themselves. And she said, yeah, a lot. And it's about ego. And that's where the secret is. The ability to shed ego. Because if I can stop spending energy on like how I don't want to have to take those pills, I can take this energy and use it to enjoy and advance my life. And she helped me realize how this frustration that I had and the ego that I had around all of this is exactly the same thing that you guys, when people come to me with a problem, right? You're not, there's something you're unsatisfied with in your life right now. And you come to me with this problem and I offer a solution. I offer coaching, and many people tell me like, but I want to be able to fix this on my own. Like, nah, I don't want to need you. I don't want to need your services. I want to be able to fix it on my own. And it's normal. Like, I feel the same way about the medication that I was taking. And I'm going to give you an example. Like, let's say someone's going to tell me like, I'm unhappy in my job. I know that what I have to do is quit my job. I know what I have to do. So why would I hire someone to tell me to quit my job? It doesn't make sense. I should be able to do this on my own. I know what I have to do. Okay? So there's a lot of ego again. I shouldn't need anyone else. I know what I'm supposed to do. And yet you haven't done it yet. So the kind of problems that I see is, this is a big one. Many people that come to me are doing a job that they don't really like, that they don't feel fulfilled in, because it's something that they chose a long time ago when it was time time to choose like what to study in college, for example. They went on a path just because, you know, we don't really know ourselves when we're 17, 16 years old, and we just pick the path that makes the most sense. Like maybe our parents were doing this, or maybe the guidance counselor at school told us that would make sense. So we just pick a path, and then 10 years down that path, we're unhappy, but we don't feel like we can change, or it seems like a big mountain. Like I've come all this way on this path, feels like I won't be able, like changing path requires that I go back to the beginning, or it just seems like a big overwhelming mountain and you don't know where to start. And you're like, well, I could do something else, but I don't know what I would do. I don't know what you're scared. Like, well, what if I go into this other job and it doesn't work out? It doesn't make me more happy. Like, I don't know what I like, what really lights me up. And so it's so scary to make a change, because what if it's the wrong decision and I have to rock the boat all over again, right? Plus, like, you don't have time to figure it out because there's all these responsibilities that you have, and people expect you, especially if you have kids, like people expect you to be there for them. And all of your time is spent catering to other people's needs, putting their needs first, either your family, your kids, or your employer. And the time that's left, you just want to, you know, unwind and relax, and you don't have the time to figure out like what it is that you want to be doing exactly. And so sometimes what I see is people are going to make a quick change. Like they're going to read books, they're going to listen to podcasts, and they're going to have like a moment of courage, and they're going to apply on a different job, and they're going to go and start doing this different job. But the problem stays, the problem remains. It might feel better for a few months, but the problem comes back. And that's because they haven't taken the time to do this work, this deep work, to understand what really would be in alignment with the person that they are today. And the reason why they haven't taken that time is partly because they wouldn't know where to start or how to figure these things out, but also because everyone else, they put everyone else before them, because that's, especially if you've been socialized as a woman, that's what we've been taught, you know, to just be of service. And not just women, but not mainly. So it becomes really hard to just to take that time for yourself to figure it out. So then these people find me, and there are people who, I mean, it's you, right? Listening to this, you have tried everything. You have tried so much, and you tell me when I offer a solution, when I offer coaching, but you're like, oh, but I should just be able to do it, you know? Again, with like, I don't want to pay for something when I know like what's going on. I just need to take the time. I just need to get to know myself better. I just need to set firmer boundaries. You know, you've read the posts on Instagram. You've read the personal improvement books. You're able to tell me like what the problem is. You're able to tell me like, I just, you know, I show up for everyone, and at the end of the week, there's like an hour or two left for me, and I'm so exhausted. Like I don't want to do anything. I just want to lie on the sofa and watch Netflix. So, you know what the problem is, but you haven't been able to make a change, and you get angry about that. And you make it mean. Many of you make it mean because you're really hard on yourself, that you're lazy, that you can't figure it out. You get annoyed with yourself, and you're like, feel like you're broken, but it's none of that. I mean, it is super, super normal, okay? Because you are fighting against yourself. You're fighting against your unconscious conditioning. So you've been conditioned in a certain way, and our unconscious conditioning is what controls most of our decisions and behaviors. That's just how it is. And what you're telling me when you say like, I should be able to do it on my own, is you're saying to me, I should have enough willingness to fight against my unconscious, but that's not how it works. This is kind of like saying I should be able to operate on 3 hours of sleep and 1 meal a day or 1 meal a week. Should be, and getting angry against fighting reality. This is ego. It makes me think of also of like a ADHD, people with ADHD. I work with a lot of my clients have ADHD, and they say like, I should be able to do things this way, the neurotypical way, should be. And they're frustrated because their lives would be easier if they could do it this way, right? I should be able to, but they're fighting against their nature. They shouldn't be able to. They should do it their way. And fighting against their nature, fighting against like the natural current, creates a lot of pain. So when you tell yourself, I should be able to make change happen on my own, you're missing, you shouldn't be able to. Otherwise you would already have, because you've tried so much. And here I am as an outside perspective who's been trained to help you see your unconscious conditioning and the results that it creates in your life, and teach you a method to rewire that conditioning. Teach you to, it's like you're swimming in the water, you're a fish in the water, and I'm outside and you can't see the water until someone else points it out to you and teaches you how to rewire your brain, how to rewire your conditioning. So there's this outside perspective, and the eyes that I have that have been trained in coach training and with hours and hours of work with clients to see that, to help you see that. And I also have a framework designed exactly for you. So the framework, it's a 3-part framework. The first part of it starts with this awareness of your conditioning and being able to rewire your brain. It's based in neuroscience, being able to rewire your brain to create different results in your life, different behaviors that create different results. And we do that so that, because right now, your primitive brain, right, your lizard brain, is wired to keep you safe. So everything that's new, everything that's unknown, your lizard brain is going to send an alarm. It's going to ring the alarm. It's going to go like, this is dangerous, don't do that. And you, without noticing your unconscious, your primitive brain is going to do everything it can to keep you safe away from change. And ego is one of its trick, one of your brain's trick, like, like using it as a weapon, almost like, well, if she has ego, then she's not going to put herself in harm's way, and this is good for us because we're keeping her safe. And so we rewire this in coaching so that you are in control. Your conscious brain is in control more often than your monkey brain or your lizard brain or your automatic brain. So that fear is not driving the way. So you are intentionally driving the way. But it is impossible or extremely, extremely hard to do that on your own when you don't have the technique, when you don't have an outside perspective to get started with. So that's the first part of the framework. I call this inner safety. We create inner safety so that your brain can calm down because you don't need like the external world to feel safe, because you feel safe on the inside, so you can show up and do something that normally your brain would perceive as super dangerous, but you're able to create that security inside and calm that part of your brain and go forward. That's the first part, inner safety. Then when you have this inner safety, I teach you how to carve out time for you. So that means how to say no, how to set boundaries, But the first part of the framework is really important here because you won't be able to say no to the people that you love or the people that pay you because your brain's going to perceive that as danger. Like, oh, if I say no to my boss, he's going to freak out. I'm going to lose my job. And then you feel very anxious. So you learn the inner safety first, and then I teach you from that place of inner safety to set boundaries, okay? To be able to say to your daughter, no, I'm not available right now. I'm working on this. It's really important to me. And make it a non-negotiable. So your time for yourself is not what's left at the end of the week, because you intentionally choose ahead of time when you're going to spend time on this transition that you want to make from a life that you're not satisfied with to one that you love. Okay, this doesn't happen like this. It requires time that you carve out, that you have to. Sometimes my clients tell me like, oh, people expect everything from me. Like, people don't let me have my time. And we have to take responsibility for that, because people love it when you give all you have to them. That's why it's called people pleasing, because it pleases people. And it displeases them when you say no, and you have to learn, and that's what I teach you, to be okay, to feel safe on the inside when someone is displeased, when someone is disappointed. So that's the price to pay, someone's disappointment, in order for you to take time to prepare your transition. So the first one is inner safety. The second one is focused time for you and your transition. And the third one is the big vision. So I have a process that I take my clients on where they get clear on what's important to them, what they value, what they're good at, what lights them up, the impact that they want to have in the world. And from there, we identify what their unique purpose is, what they were made to be doing that makes them feel alive. And we craft a big vision for that, a big vision around their purpose and what lights them up and the impact that they want to have. So that means we decide what it is that they are going to be doing for work, what kind of money do they want to make, what kind of schedule do they want to have, and we craft a vision that really makes them feel on fire, okay? That lights them up. And so all of these three parts work together, because when you have a clear vision for what you want, for where you want to go with your life, when you have that clarity, it's easier to take time as well for you, because you know why you're taking the time. You know where you're going, and you know that it's important and that it matters and that it's actually possible. And that journey back to yourself and what that journey, matters to you, and you know why you're doing it. So they all work together. The big vision, the focused time, and the inner safety. So this is my framework, right? And when you tell me, oh, no, I should be able to do it on my own, you forget, or you don't see it. I have this thing that you don't have, that you could try and piece together, and you could try to figure it out. You could, but it's going to take you more time. It is going to take you more time versus working with me, where I've tested this process, this framework with many clients now, and I am able to get you to your results so much faster. So, I got fired up there. Let me look at my notes. Yes. So the number one obstacle to your growth is ego. So if you're able to shed ego, to be like, look, this is how I am. Here's everything that I've done. Here's the situation that I'm in where I'm unsatisfied. I've tried a lot of things to get out of it. They haven't worked. This is just where I am, how I am. Now, knowing this, how do I set myself up for success? Knowing me, knowing what it's been like, knowing that I've been trying to make a change for 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, and it hasn't worked. Knowing this, now how do I set myself up for success? And a big part of that is asking for help, getting the proper help. Because there's a lot of things you can do on your own, and being able to say, you know what, I'm going to take the pill. And you know, it's not black or white. But in my situation, if I go back to my example about the physical condition that I had, I'm just going to take the pill, enjoy the fact that that I'm doing better. And then instead of wasting energy thinking I should be able to figure it out on my own, then I spend this energy on just, you know, doing all the stuff that matters. Because I was able to shed my ego to detach from how I think it should be. No, okay, this is how it is. I have this condition. This medication makes it go away like this. So I'm just going to take it and that's it. I'm not going to waste time there. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, willingness is not enough in a lot of cases, because your brain, your primitive brain, is going to do everything it takes to fight against change. So if you want to change, you're fighting against your unconscious, and that is nearly impossible to do on your own. Even me, now that I have the methods, that I've learned the tools, I need to get coached. Because sometimes I just cannot see the water that I'm in. Like my friend this morning told me, like, look you're doing the same thing that the people who want to work with you are doing. You're having ego here. Like you're like a dog on a bone. Just let go and focus on what's really going to make you progress. Is there anything else? It's just that you might be just missing a tool in your toolbox. And I like to call this your support ecosystem. An ecosystem of support. Like, look, this is who I am. I'm not like, I don't have the pretension to think that I'm perfect and complete. And I know that if I go, if I bring this person and this medication and this sort of food in my life, it's my ecosystem of support. So for me, I have coaches, I have a therapist, I have the food that I eat, the avocados that I eat every day at lunch. This is part of my ecosystem. I have my friends, I have my community, I have the coffee shop that I go to work. Because I cannot fulfill my needs and I cannot go where I want to be on my own. I need help. And there is so much strength in saying I need help and picking the right person to help you with your problem. So if I've described exactly the kind of problem that you have, that you're stuck in confusion in a job that you don't really like, and you know you want to make a change, you know you want to make a transition, but you've been scared, I'm the person for you. Not me as a person, but what the tools that I can teach you and the process that I can take you through. So think about this. What is the help that you need right now? And are you depriving yourself from that help because of ego? That's the main question. Are you depriving yourself from help because you have ego? What can you let go of? Like if you were just okay with where you are, like I was telling my clients, like if you're in a hole, if you fall in a hole, you can either be like, shit, I shouldn't have fell into a hole. I'm so stupid. I should have looked where I was going. While you're doing this, you're not getting busy like trying to figure out a contraption or a way to get out of the hole. You're just beating yourself up, and that's not helping. It's just ego. You're just saying, I should not have fell into that hole. Not helping. It's a waste of energy. You're like, shit, like why did I fall into this hole? And I'm not the one who thought about this analogy. By the way, giving credit to Stacey Bayman, who came up with this analogy. So instead, you're like, okay, I'm in a hole. This is the situation right now. What can I do? Who could help me? Maybe I can call a friend who's going to throw a rope in. Or maybe I just acknowledging like matter of factly the situation that you're in without beating yourself up about it, without shitting yourself about how you shouldn't be in that situation. Like, oh, I know I need to quit my job, but I shouldn't hire someone to just tell me to quit my job. I already know what I'm supposed to do, but you haven't done it yet. You haven't done it yet, and there's a reason for that, and you just need to acknowledge this, acknowledge that you cannot do everything on your own, and go seek the proper help. Just acknowledging that you're in the bottom of the hole, and I'm sorry if that's a bit dark, but it's for the analogy, the purpose of the analogy. This acceptance, like radical acceptance of where you are, gives you like the brain space to connect to your resources and ask yourself, okay, who can I reach out to? Who can help me with this? So now, if you want to work together, or if you want to at least have a conversation, see if we're a good fit, book a call with me. So you can book a call all the way to Thursday, the 22nd of December, because after that, it's the holidays. You can book a call with me. Just go at the link in my bio, and you're gonna just pick a time that works well in your calendar, and we're gonna sit together. I'm gonna ask you about where you are, what's going on, what you want to be able to do, and I'm going to tell you about how I can help you in your specific situation. And if you're the right fit for my coaching, well, we're going to get started in January and work together for an intensive 3 months. Okay? We're going to meet every week. Super simple. You just have to show up every week and make a huge ton of progress. But before making the decision, just book a call. If you're not sure that you're ready, just book a call. We can have a conversation, just you and I. And if it's not a right fit, that's fine. That's totally fine with me. But I want you to know the resources that are available to you. Okay? So there's nothing to lose by booking a call. Just takes a little of your time. We get to chat. I introduce you to my coaching, how it works. And then you make your decision. But a decision that you make from full consciousness, okay? From knowing what's available to you, okay? So that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I'm also going to upload that as a podcast. So if you listen to this as a podcast, thank you for listening. I love you all. Let's shed our ego. This message was not just for you. It's for me as well, because I know there are areas of my life in which I want to grow, and I stop myself because we still all have ego, and it's just a practice of seeing, okay, what area of my life can I, shed my ego in? Okay, that's it. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye. Okay, so I stopped recording live, and then there was a few things I wanted to add. It's going to be like a PS just for you podcast listeners. So in the same line, I noticed that my most successful clients, the one that make the most progress when they work with me, is those who are open to saying, okay, the way that I've been doing it hasn't been working, so I'm all ears. The clients I've worked with over the time who keep arguing with me, who have keep their arms closed to their chest and what'd you say? How'd you say that? When your arms are tight on your chest kind of thing? Crossed arms. Clients who look at me weird, with a suspicious eye and crossed arms are the ones that are going to make the least progress, because they're so stuck in wanting to be right. They don't want the way that they've been moving through life to be quote unquote wrong. And it's not that it's wrong. There's no such thing as right or wrong. There's just what result do you want to create in your life? And if you haven't gotten to this result, it means that you haven't been doing what you need to do to get there. Okay, so my mentor Brooke Castillo, she says, if you want to change your life, you need to change your life.
And that means if you want to change your life, you have to do things differently. And your brain, your primitive brain, doesn't want you to do that. So it's going to resist. And confirmation bias is when you have strong beliefs and you're looking for evidence that are going to prove your beliefs, and everything that goes against what you believe, what you've been taught, you're going to feel resistant about. You're going to look down upon, or you're going to look away from. You're not going to want to go there because it disconfirms what you believe. So you have to be able to handle cognitive dissonance if you're wanting to change. If you're wanting to create a different life, it's going to feel uncomfortable in your mind, in your body as well, because you have to rewire your brain and the conditioning that you've been used to, although it might have made you miserable or it might have created results that you don't feel satisfied by. It's comfortable. It is very, very comfortable versus trying to do something different or open yourself up to a different perspective or way of thinking, which is what I teach, is going to feel like putting new hiking boots on. You feel stiff. It's going to feel stiff in the beginning. And you have to be like, okay, well, it feels stiff, but I'm willing to give it a try. I'm willing to give it an honest try. And that requires shedding your ego. Okay, I've worked with clients who refuse to shed their ego. They manage to shed it for a little bit before joining, but then as soon as they feel the discomfort, they protect themselves with ego. And that never, like now I see it ahead of time, and I usually decide not to work with those people because I know it's going to be an uphill battle. So you have to open yourself up. Okay. And since you're listening to this as a podcast, you can book a call through my Instagram, but you can also just go to selfgrowthnerds.com/dreamer. And you'll be able to, there's a big yellow button at the bottom of the page. You can click there. It's going to take you to my calendar, and you just pick a time that works for you. Okay? I love you all, and I will talk to you next week. Bye. You just listened to the Self-Growth Nerds podcast. Make sure to subscribe and to find me on Instagram at Self-Growth Nerds. If you want individual help developing the confidence to create a more meaningful and exciting life, visit selfgrowthnerds.com today to learn how. Finally, I want to thank my friend Etienne Galano for editing this, and I want to thank you, kind-hearted souls, for growing into your truest, most courageous selves every day and making this world a better, more beautiful place. My name is Marie, and I will talk to you next week.